This is the President McCormack Podcast with your host, Mark McCormack.
It's funny, dude, because I actually, I wanted to do, so I'm like 2 years in now, right? So, in fact, you might be my...
How many episodes do you have?
Like 198?
Holy shit.
You might be 200.
Really?
Let's think about that. Hold on a second. I'll tell you. Yeah, you might be my 200, dude. So it worked out serendipitously.
Dude,
see,
let's
Hayden
go.
was 198.
That's a feat, bro. Like, I have...
You are. You're literally going to be freaking 200.
Let's go.
Yeah, my 200th episode. Heck yeah.
Let's go. No, I probably have... I don't even know, maybe 20 or so episodes is all. Yeah. And it's like, when people get up past 100, I'm like, that's commitment. I have not gotten to that point. Cause like, I love podcasting. I think it's fun. Yeah. But for me, I just get I think I might have ADHD, never been diagnosed, but I'm like, I feel like I just get sidetracked so easily. Yeah. And a podcast is one of those things where you don't really like see the fruits of your labor. You don't there's not like a direct conversion attached to a podcast unless you have sponsors or something. I don't know, right? Monetarily. Yeah. And so like, I just get like kind of sidetracked. I'm like, I don't like, it's fun, but like I need to focus on ads or making YouTube videos or whatever, you know? Yeah. So I see how it fits in, but like immediately you can't like quantify it, I guess. Yeah. So.
No, that's a hard thing. So I always said I'd get to 200 episodes and then I would decide if I'm going to continue and monetize it or not. Right. And I still don't know. I don't,
I mean, there's ways you can do it. Like the best, cause I've had sponsors on my podcast and like the sponsors that I've had one that is, what's it called? It's a little drink. It's like a shot of like kombucha and like lion's mane. Oh
wow!
I forget the name of it, but it's basically just like a mental health drink thing. Yeah. So I've talked about that. It's like a 30-second integration. Then the other one I had was a platform called Riverside.fm. So they like online podcasting, virtual podcasting. So it's like a perfect fit, right? Yeah. So those are really good. I think if you get a sponsor that integrates organically, then it's easy. But to be honest, I feel like from an advertiser standpoint, I don't know if I'd want to advertise on a podcast, because when I'm listening to a podcast and an ad comes on, I just fast forward. Yeah. Like on Apple CarPlay, it's like 15 seconds, go forward. I'm like, all right, let me tap that a few times and then the ad's over. Yeah.
I think podcasts are rapidly changing. I think this type of podcast will be dead in, 2 years.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's more, I think you're going to get more subject matter experts talking directly to the camera. So, like you've seen the kind of stuff that me and Jonah do every now and again for me, right? Like I just look at the camera, they interview me, I ask questions, they chop it up into 30 to 60 second clips. And then that actually seems to get more engagement, right? Especially because if you're driving ROI, right, to talk some business here, right? Yeah. Like for me specifically, right? I drive ROI through my Instagram, right? Because that's really the most place that I do it. I'm building the YouTube channel, but it takes a while, right? 18 months basically, right?
Oh yeah.
And so it's interesting to kind of like drive into my Instagram, but my Instagram doesn't push them to do anything, right? So it's not like buy my book or buy a shirt or hire me or whatever, right? Yeah. Or buy my course. It's actually funny, dude, because I put a video out. It was really funny, dude, to me, because I put a video out about diversification, right? Saying that it's bad to do. Right. And I have never had more negative engagement on a post.
Like diversification in what
like
way?
Stocks, like asset classes, right? So like it's much better for you to research 4 stocks, right? And know them really well and buy them and buy them for years, right? Yeah. Then you go out there and try and figure out 50 different stocks because you got a job, right? That's the whole point of this whole thing is like people, and most wealthy people, like, so let's just go to the billionaire class. They're all in one thing generally, right? Now, when you become that wealthy, right, like you spit off so much cash, you just start buying like real estate projects and investing in funds.
Yeah, you're liquid. You can be liquid if you want to.
But the thing that pushed you there was all one thing. My best, and this is the best example that I put up. Well, for example, one person was like, yeah, Warren Buffett be rolling up, and I'm like, Warren Buffett does this. He's 90 something years old. Until recently, 40% of his portfolio was in Apple. Now, Apple grew that big, right? But that's not diversity. If you take his top 5 holdings, it's like 80% of his whole company, right? And the reason why is because he has a massive group of people, right? So you have like 5 people that are in charge of one company to analyze it, right? And they just data hounds, right? Go crazy. The other one is, and this is the best example of all time, right? You take Bill Gates, right? So Bill Gates obviously started Microsoft, blah, 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 starts divesting in the 90s because of Warren Buffett, right? So, you know, he's worth, so when he started divesting, I think he had like 31% of Microsoft or 32 or somewhere in that range, right?
Sure.
So the freaking market cap on is like $2.5 trillion right now, right? So if he would have never diversified out of that into basically owning the S&P, right? Yeah. He would be worth like freaking $900 billion or more. I don't even know what that converts to right off the bat. It's like, tell me where I'm wrong. And dude, people just went crazy.
Well, when you think about it too, like, I think for also like young investors or entrepreneurs, whatever it might be, if you're splitting your time, you're trying to do a million different things, right? And you're like, yeah, I need to learn about stocks and learn about index funds, and like whatever, like you're going to only grow this much. But if you just take like one or two, you're going to skyrocket those two. And then from there, it's like, okay, great. Now what else do you want to play around with? Right. You have that flexibility. So yeah, I would agree with you on that point. Yeah. Makes total sense.
And it's kind of like Bitcoin and crypto, right?
Yeah.
Like over the last 11 years, right? Like, you get these guys, but I can't believe you guys made this so much money. It's like they went all in.
Oh yeah,
right? They went all in on Ethereum.
It can be really risky, right? Yeah. But yeah, like it can work out, and you gotta make some smart, bets on yourself. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you on that.
But if you believe it though, right? I mean, like say you and me 8 years ago, right? We're looking at Bitcoin. It's $5 a coin, right? We're like, I don't know, man. This makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's like decentralized currency. It's easy to use. It's easy to transact. It does take a shit ton of computing power, but like outside of that, right? Like not bad. And really, if you look at Bitcoin, what you're really doing is storing the cost of energy and the value of the token, right? But for you to really understand any crypto, you have to understand blockchain technology. So if you spend a year of your life and learn blockchain as well as anybody or as much as you possibly can, it's easy for you to pick the cryptocurrencies that will do well because you understand the utility on the blockchain, and then that shows you the value of the coin. But if you're on freaking Twitter and buying Shiba Inu, right?
You're waiting for Elon to tweet and
exactly,
say, hey,
right? You're just gambling and you're acting like, and then people are like, well, I should have diversified it. It's like,
yeah.
Don't blame your freaking mistakes on diversification.
Oh, no. Dude, I bought the Dogecoin when that was hype.
And
did you? Yeah, I think I can't remember how much I made. And then I was like, I'm just going to hold on to it for a little bit longer. And I lost everything. So
the best example of that was the NFT world.
Oh, dude, that was insane. I was this close. So I was working on, so my brother-in-law, he's a video game artist. Like he did all, like, not all, but a lot of the art for like all the Spider-Man video games and all this stuff. He's really freaking good. Yeah. And I commissioned him to basically help me create an NFT collection for filmmakers. So it'd basically be like, and this was when NFTs were really, really hot, and especially collections where it'd be randomly generated and you get your, your own character essentially. So I had him start working on that. And then by the time I was like ready to about launch it, everything just in the NFT world. I was like, oh, okay, maybe not.
I'll tell you. So I was working with, so the NBA is one of my clients, right? And I was working with Golden State Warriors specifically, but then I was trying to get into like the corporate side of the NBA, right? Because you got to take this thing up the chain, right?
Yeah.
And I was super annoyed because they had released their NFTs, right? Which was like moments. So they're literally, they're selling 8 or 10 of like Steph Curry hitting a 3. Right. And it's like, there's no value in this, right? Yeah. You guys are just doing a quick money, and they made a couple $1 million off of it, right?
Sure.
But it's like, at the end of the day, it's like you provided zero value.
And I mean, for the NBA, a couple $1 million, like, is that really even a big?
No, they killed the program.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And they were kind of force feeding it onto the teams. The teams were like, what do we do? Like Golden State Warriors, that you could buy like one of their championship rings as an NFT.
Okay.
I can't remember I think it was like $1,000 or $500 at the time. And I'm like, guys, how is this going to increase in value?
Oh yeah,
you sold 400 of them.
It's a money grab, honestly. Yeah, like you're right. There has to be utility around that, otherwise it's totally worthless. Like who cares? Like what are like the Bored Apes up to these days? Like I don't even know. What's the point?
The founders are cashing those checks somewhere. Is what
I know.
Happened, right?
Yeah, if you found it, great, good for you. But otherwise, I mean, I feel like it's such a quick way to also ruin the reputation of a brand or creator. Like you look at like Logan Paul on some of the NFT projects that he's done, and it's totally like, I mean, he's had plenty of little things that have happened over the years, but it's a big element that's definitely tarnished his image quite a bit. And it's like, hey, was that worth venturing into? And obviously you don't know until you're there and something bad happens. But I don't know. I feel like we can all learn a little bit from that. Like maybe don't jump into that fad.
Well, the thing that drives me most crazy about, honestly, is we will all end up using NFTs eventually.
Yeah.
Right? We'll call them smart contracts, which is what they are, right?
Yeah.
But it's the greatest thing of all time, right? Because if you're on the blockchain, so anyone listen to this, if I was to sell Landon a car, we could do it over our phone, right? And if you have everything plugged into the blockchain properly, right, like the title gets moved, that if you need a loan, it's already preset, right? Like all those things can be pre-made, so you and I could not even know each other.
Yeah.
I could drive over to your house, look at your car. I'd be like, "Yep, I agree to the price at $20,000." We tap our phones, transactions done, taxes are paid, everything, right?
Oh yeah.
And then you apply that to everything that you buy over time, and it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
So I actually love the idea of the concert tickets being sold as NFTs. Because if you make a really cool NFT, right, number one, you get away from Ticketmaster potentially. Maybe not.
Dude, the fees.
I don't know how wound up that all is, but then you have your digital wallet, right, which most people are going to end up going into big time, especially when X opens their digital wallet. But and then you can I could go in your digital wallet and look at all the concerts you've been to. So it's almost like a little trophy room.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I wonder too, like from the artist's perspective or the band's perspective, like owning that fully. It's like great. We just got to surpass like all of the Ticketmaster fees. Like we don't have to worry about that at all.
Yeah.
We can make a lot more. And now there's a bigger reason to actually go to the concert as an attendee, because suddenly it's like, oh, so I could add this dope NFT art or something to my collection. Like you said, like that's dope. Why wouldn't you want to do that?
Well, and my original idea on this too was, it's like I tried to pull this off with Post Malone, but I had a middleman that I was trying to use to like get to him, right?
Yeah.
It didn't work. But if it did, my pitch to him was gonna be like, hey, listen, we're gonna sell these NFTs to super fans. We're gonna have about 200 people at this concert. It's gonna be wildly intimate. We're gonna auction your guitar off at the end. We're gonna auction off your shirt, your shoe, like whatever, right? Whatever we can possibly auction off to these guys and sell the damn tickets for $10,000 each, right?
Jeez, yeah.
Like you will make almost as much money in this concert as you would in some of your, probably not a stadium concert, but
Sure.
because he'll make hay. Right.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, because you're not paying the Live Nation fee, you're not paying the Ticketmaster fee, and you control all that.
Yeah.
And then when people leave, they literally have an NFT from the night.
Yeah.
Right. And then if, they end up getting the guitar, right, then they have an NFT that goes with the guitar. And then if they ever sell that off, then they sell the NFT with the guitar. And you have this physical thing that moves around with a smart contract.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was probably going to if I ever pulled one of them off, right, I would have got absolutely railroaded by Live Nation. Because I'm sure they would have just been like, hey, hire 50 developers, we're gonna have this thing up like tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because we'd be competing with them like day one. But I don't know, I found it really cool for the artist to do that.
Yeah, I think it's dope.
Right? You know, but I don't know.
No, I think it's dope. I think, verifying the authenticity of an item with an NFT makes a hell of a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like a piece of paper with like a reflective sticker on it, I'm like, okay, like sure. But yeah, an NFT, it's you can't really forge that, right?
No.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't need third-party authenticators. You don't need any of that crap.
Independent, yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I was going to say, so my project was going to be, we're going to take an entire floor, every floor in the NBA, tokenize them all, right? And then sell them at the beginning of the season. Now, if anyone's listening to this and doesn't know how NFTs work, if you can actually build a royalty into every NFT, right? So whatever percentage, so say it's 10%. So every time someone sells that NFT, the original person gets 10%, right? And so they normally go up in value. So we were going to sell each panel for like $5,000 or 5,000 worth of Ethereum, right? And give them an NFT.
Yeah.
And at the end of the season, you could come to the arena, have an event with all the players and the teams, whoever actually own those NFTs. And then we would ship that wood, as long as it's in the 48 states, we would ship the actual piece to them. And then from there, it's like, do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
But we looked at it as more of a trading card, right? Because say LeBron James blows his knee out, right? And he actually retires. So you could actually own the piece that he either blew his knee out on, hit his last shot, hit his last three, hit his last dunk. Like you really start going down all these events. But if you actually own the piece of wood, it's cool.
Yeah.
Right? If you own a video of it, like, who cares?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like, you can get center, and we would randomize it, right? So you might get a center logo piece, right? Well, an entire center logo is 16 pieces, right? And they're really, they could be $100,000 each. If that team wins the championship that year, right, and then you start going out and blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, that's great. I mean, that's what I love about that is because you need a tangible. That's the problem with like NFT art is like I like kind of got why people were hyped about it when it was at its peak.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but at the end of the day, it's just like a little video playing on your phone. Like you can like, try and hype it up as much as you want and say it's worth something, but it's a video, right?
Yeah.
And so, having a physical piece that you can put in your house or whatever, and then the certificate that goes with it. Yeah. Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Go back in time. Let's pretend you had the freaking 8 bulls. Is that the last time Michael won it? Or 99, one of them, right?
I think it was 99. I think so.
Yeah, he was 97, 98, 99, something like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, but say you've owned that and you've owned it since then, and you say you bought a bunch of tokens, bought a bunch of pieces. So you own like 10 pieces of the court.
Yeah.
Those things are invaluable right now.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely invaluable. I have a company that we do merchandising for the NBA, right? And dude, if we had a piece of that court, you're talking one piece could be worth $300,000-$400,000, especially if you cut it up and turn it into merchandise and kind of segregate it out.
Yeah.
But I mean, center court logos off of that, or the last piece that Michael Jordan hit a shot off of, dude, you're talking like millions.
So what have they like taken those pieces?
That court's gone.
They didn't save it at all. Like it's not. Oh, damn, dude.
There's a couple good courts out there. So we just barely bought the original Naismith court.
Oh wow.
And so we've got that. We just have literally got it in our warehouse in the last month. Right. We're going to kind of merchandise that a little bit. Right.
Yeah.
We've got. I'm trying to think what else we got. We have the 2000 Lakers court, which
that's cool.
You got they got the Kobe on there. Karl Malone played on that. There's all the '90s guys played on that, and then they won the championships on it in the early 2000s. Right.
Yeah.
So that one's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, you can get some guys going through their midlife crisis buying those pieces, right?
Yeah.
They're big fans.
Even if you're like a you're a pretty wealthy guy, right?
No,
so take your office, right? What if you had a full center court logo in there? Like up on the wall as a piece of art.
That'd be insane.
Oh, it'd be so sick. Especially if it's like your team.
It would cost more than the building itself, but yeah, that'd be sick.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
If you, I mean, at $5,000 a pop, if you get in there and buy them all up at the beginning, right? Before anything happens, like, not bad.
Yeah, that's sick.
So,
that's dope. Dude, I love that idea.
There's my NFT dream.
Yeah.
Who knows if it'll work? It's also just an idea.
Yeah, no, I agree with you though. I think on the utility side of things, NFTs are great. Beyond that, on the digital artwork side of things, people are gonna put whatever value they want on anything, right? Like that's what's so funny about auctions. And like, dude, I went to an auction in Vegas during the F1 race last year, and we were at this auction. What was it? Was it Sotheby's? I can't even remember. Whoever auctions off like the most expensive vehicles, like it was this auction, and they were auctioning off Lewis Hamilton's like Formula One car. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been like the first race he won. It might have been a specific race. I can't even remember. Yeah. It literally went, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was over $20 million, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I bet,
like at auction. And like the whole, and there was a ton of other cars that were auctioned off. Like I don't even know how much the room was worth, but it was insane. And I'm like, how do you get to that number? Like, how do you define that this car is worth 20 million plus bucks? Just because there's a certain amount of people that can all like unanimously agree that, oh yeah, it's worth X. So sure. And like people just battle it out.
It's just straight supply and demand, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like people will pay it. Yeah.
It's so interesting to me how that works. And especially in the NFT world with something that's not tangible, that's digital. It's like, how did you get to that point? I don't get it.
Well, I almost look at everything like a baseball card. It's probably because I grew up in the 80s and 90s, right, when baseball cards were like everywhere. But I remember these numbers are probably inaccurate because I was a kid, right? But I remember my friend was talking about his dad bought a Mickey Mantle card, and I think he paid like 80 grand for it. Oh my God. Was like, what? Like 80 grand in like 87, dude. It was,
with inflation.
$500,000. I don't know.
I don't know.
Like a lot of money. Yeah. I was like, holy shiz. And then he had already had two other ones that he had from his childhood.
Oh, wow.
So it was his third Mickey Mantle card. And I just remember thinking it was a lot of money. And then I thought about that throughout the years, and I'm like, those freaking cards are worth millions now.
Oh, probably.
Like that might have been his actual best investment he ever made in his life.
Yeah.
And if you ever got one of those, like, what is it, Hornus Wagner cards or whatever, like a Babe Ruth or, and it's like, it's just a piece of freaking cardboard, which, by the way, could get destroyed at any second.
Oh, yeah. Did he preserve them or anything, or did they just keep
them?
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're PSA graded in the whole,
Yeah. I mean, people do the same thing with Pokemon. right?
Yeah.
Which I'm like, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, I get it. There's a rarity to anything, really.
Yeah.
But it's never been my cup of tea. I'm like, I don't really care. I don't know. I don't collect stuff like that.
I went to the open. Remember that Cards and Coffee shop that was downtown?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Before,
Yeah.
it blew up.
Yeah.
I went up there on opening day, because Jimmy was an investor in it, right? Mm-hmm. And so I brought my son and a bunch of like other people were kind of looking at all this stuff, and they had like, I don't know, 10 or 15 like Charizards that were like cool or whatever. I know nothing about Pokemon cards, by the way.
Dude, I'm clueless. Yeah.
But the guy goes, "Hey, do you want to hold one of these?" And I was like, "Sure." Right? It was in a case. But so I had let my son hold it, took a picture of it with him, and I handed it back. I'm like, "That's pretty cool." I'm like, "How much is that thing?" He goes, "It's probably $65,000." I was like, "What? A freaking Pokemon card?" And he goes, "Oh, dude, there's ones that are way more than this."
Speaking of like Logan Paul, he's done a ton of stuff with Pokemon. Like he's probably one of the biggest reasons that the Pokemons are worth so much right now.
Oh, really?
Because he's cared so much about it. I can't remember how much he paid. I mean, he's paid probably over $1 million, I think, for different cards. And I remember there's one video, I literally can't remember the card. I don't know anything about Pokemon, but he got scammed out of it. So he bought this card. I think it was like $1 million, if not more. And it was like, I think it was a G.I. Joe card that had a fake like Charizard or whatever the character was like on top of it. So someone like made a total knockoff and managed to sell it to him. And then he was out however much he spent. I can't remember, but yeah.
That is crazy.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. I don't get it, but I get it, but I don't, right? Like I'll probably never be one to invest or buy a card like that because I just don't understand it. And I'm not passionate about it, but yeah, dude, that's interesting.
That's so I do a lot of investing, right? So it's like it's just educated guessing, right? Or like,
oh yeah,
what do you think this company's going to do?
Sure.
And when I say educated guessing, you can get pretty close, right? Like you can tell if it's a good company, and you can put money into it. You might not know it's going to explode, right, or anything's going to happen in the future, right? But when it comes to like this kind of like tangible stuff, I'm like, I have no idea how to value this because me on the street, I'm not paying more than $2 for a card, right? And so it's really hard for me to like conceptualize future value of like stuff like that. Even like cars.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because it's like, what if this thing rusts? What if this thing does this?
I mean, if anything, you need a baseline. You just need to know, okay, ballpark, what is similar stuff already going for? And then you can go off of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess inflation always wins.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So, hey, switching gears, I want to talk to you about full-time filmmaker.
Yeah, dude.
So, so the podcast here, we do a little bit of business, right? So, and people really like that. So you actually purchased Full-Time Filmmaker.
Yeah.
Would you mind, and just tell us what you're comfortable with. You can say numbers if you want or don't want. But, what was that like? How did that all go down and why'd you do it?
Dude, wild. Like one of the craziest full circle moments for me. So I started making videos probably a decade ago, and I went to Alta High School, local Utah high school. And Parker Walbeck, the founder of Full-Time Filmmaker, also went to Alta, but he was like 5 years older than me. Okay. So we never connected at school. And then my senior year of high school, I was actually they call it the audio visual officer. So the guy who basically makes all the videos for the school, like the pep rally and recap of football games and just random stuff. And I was at a lacrosse game. This was 2015. I'm at a lacrosse game with my Nikon camera, really cheap gimbal. Like this is the early days. I was like one of 2 or 3 kids in my entire high school who was making videos. Yeah. Now it's like, I swear everyone knows how to make videos. It's way more common. And I'm at this lacrosse game filming it, and Parker walks up to me. And at the time, Parker was working with Devin Supertramp. I don't know if you're familiar with Devin Supertramp on YouTube. Yeah. Kind of an OG YouTuber.
Yeah, I remember him from like the Lake Powell stuff he would do, like the blob shooting guys off with the drone going around him and all that kind of stuff. I watched a lot of those. Those were interesting.
Oh, those are super. Yeah. And back, I mean, that was 2013 to 2015, right? Like he was at his peak back then, and just doing random fun stuff. Like Devin was a pioneer on YouTube, in my opinion. And so Parker was working with Devin, and a lot of the time Parker was actually filming videos for the Devin Supertramp channel without Devin even there. And so Parker was like actually building up his audience. He started his own channel on the side. And so he was gaining some subscribers there. And anyways, I'm at this lacrosse game filming. I see him, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's Parker. And he walks up to me. He's like, hey, nice camera. And we just start chatting. And he's like, hey, so I'm starting this thing, this course. Like, I'm looking for some camera operators. It's called Full-Time Filmmaker. I was like, oh, cool. He's like, yeah, so what are you doing like after high school? At the time, I was like, oh, I'm going on a church service mission. So I was about to leave for 2 years. And he's like, hey, well, hit me up when you get back. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, sounds great. But I was like starstruck because it was Parker Walbeck. I'm like, this guy's dope. Yeah. And so I come back from the mission. I actually got a full ride scholarship to Utah State for it was an ambassador scholarship. So I was basically supposed to go to Utah State, and then I'd go to different high schools and like tell all these high school kids why they should go to college, how important it is, and go to Utah State. Eventually I dropped out, so it's kind of ironic, but but that was kind of my thing. I got back, I was so busy with that. And I didn't want to be that guy that like hit up Parker and was like, hey, remember how you said I could like have a job or whatever? Like, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to like do my thing and just kind of, because I want to feel like I've actually earned it, not that I'm just like calling in a favor or whatever. Yeah. So I ended up going to college. I started a production company with my brother and my 2 buddies, which just flopped miserably. It was a terrible, like, oh my gosh. I think we made... But I looked at my tax return for that year. I think I made like maybe $3,000 the entire year. Ugh. It was like one of the worst years. But I'm like, it's fine, because I kind of call that year my business school. Because when I went to Utah State, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and so I just actually made my major. Well, not really major at the time, but I just decided I'm like, I'm going to study anthropology for the year, just because it sounds interesting. And not the store, by the way, not anthropology, the whatever candle store. But just the study of like cultures and people and stuff was like kind of interesting to me. And I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So I'm like, I'm just going to try and enjoy the classes I have as much as I can. Simultaneously, I'm running this production company. I'm working a 9 to 5, or not 9 to 5, I guess, but just a minimum wage, $7 an hour job between classes and whatnot. And so we're building up this production company. Doesn't get very much traction. At the end of the school year, I decided I'm just going to drop out. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to like drop out. We kind of liquidated the production company as well because it just wasn't getting anywhere. I'm like, there's too many people involved. Nothing's happening. And so I broke off and I just went solo. Mm-hmm. And my first year solo, I ended up doing 100K. Just as a freelance videographer, making videos for clients, doing weddings, real estate, whatever it was. So I was super proud of myself. I'm like, hey, like, I think I've figured it out, at least for myself right now. And I ended up reconnecting with Parker because he was shooting a real estate video and he was doing like a job shadow for Full-Time Filmmaker. And so I went to film a real estate video. So I'm just getting BTS of him doing that. We reconnect, we grab lunch after, and then, we just start chatting from there. Funny thing is too, like, I never bought the Full-Time Filmmaker course. So when I was in college, my brother bought it. Yeah. And so I just stole his login. And so I would watch the FTF course videos on his account, never even paid for it. Yeah. And then after I met or saw Parker again doing that real estate video, he was like, hey, like you're part of Full-Time Filmmaker. I'm like, oh, I actually just stole my brother's account. He's like, oh, let me set you up with an account. So he just gave it to me. Yeah. And then we start chatting. I do a few videos for him. Like, I'm editing a few things. I'm getting some footage for him for some YouTube videos. He's just contracting me out for little things. And then one day I text him. I'm like, hey, you guys should make a like seamless transitions course. Because at the time, like making these like whip transitions and all these cool things in videos was like really, really popular. And he hadn't done that yet. So I was like, you guys should make that. And then he kind of flipped it on me. He's like, well, why don't you make that for us? Like, just make that mini course under the Full-Time Filmmaker umbrella, and let's just see what happens. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I basically spent like the next few months just throwing that together. And I mean, at the time I needed a few months to do it. If I were to make that same course now, I could probably do it in a week. Yeah. But back then, like, it just took all of my energy to figure it out, right? And I'd never been on camera before or anything too. So I make this course. We launch it. We make this YouTube video to launch it, and that YouTube video does 500,000 views in a week. So like it does really, really well. And then within a month, it's 1 million views. It didn't sell very much of like that mini course that I made, but it sold a ton of like the Full-Time Filmmaker course. Gotcha. And so Parker was like, oh, well, like, I think we have something here. Like we just made a dope viral video. You did a great job. He's like, do you want to join the Full-Time Filmmaker team? And I'm like, sure. He's like, hey, well, like what are we looking at number wise, basically?
Yeah.
And he just matched what I was making with my production company. And so I was like, all right, let's do it. So I kind of shut down my production company, went full time on his team. A couple years passed by, we make a ton of videos. And then I just got restless. I'm like, I got to do my own thing because I realized I'm not very good at being like employed by somebody.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a good and a bad thing. I just always had the entrepreneurship like itch in a way. And so I ended up leaving and then just kind of messing around, doing my own thing, trying to figure out what I want to do career-wise and what companies I want to build. And I ended up starting a production company. This is like 2021 at this point. And so I'm doing my own thing. I start Studio, my production company now in Lehigh. We have that physical space. Have you been there, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, you came in. Okay.
Yeah. I've actually been there a few times.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Okay. With Jonah and those guys?
So I came with Jonah the one time when I think it was the time I met you.
Okay.
Up in your office. And then we filmed like a little intro for me for some reason. And then I went over there. I went over there and saw Hunter like a week or two ago. When were we supposed to podcast? What, 2 weeks ago?
I think longer. I think 3 or 4.
Yeah. So I went there like the day after.
Okay.
And so, because he wanted to talk to me about investing and like personal.
Oh, okay.
So I just sat there and talked to him for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
So yeah, you know the space.
Yeah.
And that's
it's gorgeous. Yeah, you guys have like a cyclone wall. And actually, I think the thing you guys have is really cool is the stage.
Oh, the stage is great.
Because you can get on stage and look like you're anywhere in the world.
Oh, yeah.
So.
We're getting it kitted out, too. It's going to be even better. We got like a grid going over it so we can mount lights, like stage lights and everything. So it'll be really nice.
Yeah.
And
I think my partners went down there from Tandem to film. Or they were going to at least.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Studio was derived. It started in my basement. Like it was me basically starting up the production company from before Full-Time Filmmaker, reaching out to those old clients I had back in like 2018, and I just started building it up from there with Connor, who you know, and we ended up getting a space and then just having this dope studio, trying to build up the production company. As this was happening, Full-Time Filmmaker, Parker was doing a great job running it, but he was getting just tired because it's a lot, dude. Running a course and being honestly like a solopreneur with that type of business is just draining. Takes a lot out of you. And he was getting ready to either like just shut it down completely, to just like fizzle it out, or to potentially hand it off to somebody else who'd want to keep it going. And so he made a list of all the people he thought could potentially like take it over. And he said that I was at the top of that list. He's like, out of everyone, like you've been on the channel so much, you're in a position, you have a studio, you run a production company, like you're the perfect fit. You haven't made a competing product to Full-Time Filmmaker, right? And so we kind of reconnect. This is 2022, I think, 2023. Yeah, 2023, we reconnect and we start talking a bit more. I have him on my podcast. We talk for a couple of hours and then he kind of tells me that he's thinking about handing it off. And he basically just makes me, this is the end of 2023, he makes me like acting CEO of Full-Time Filmmaker for a few months, just so I can kind of learn the ropes and see if it even is a good fit. And I take it over just at that time and manage it pretty well. Like we had some goals of where we wanted to hit revenue wise, didn't quite get there, but like it still like maintained it well and grew a little bit. Yeah. And he's like, hey, like I think you're good. He's like, are you down? Like, you ready? Do you want to take this on? Like, what do you think? And so I'm like, yeah, let's figure it out. So we drew up our agreement, kind of put together like a purchase price for what it was worth. Yeah. If you're curious, it was, the way we split it up was with the YouTube channel being one piece of it, because the YouTube channel is really valuable. 2 million subscribers. It's really easy to monetize. We have a ton of sponsors who they'll pay us 10, 15 grand for a video, right? And we can do a few of those a month. Yeah. So like there's a lot of money just on the YouTube channel. And then on the course, specifically the value of the course and I guess the IP of Full-Time Filmmaker as a whole. So that's kind of how we split it up.
On the course, do you guys run that through YouTube or is that through a different platform?
So we run it through Kajabi.
Okay.
We've gone through a bunch of different platforms. Right now it's in Kajabi.
Yeah. Is that the best one?
I think so. Yeah, at the moment. Yeah. For what we do, like we have 700 videos, right? And tons of students. It's like, there's not many platforms that can handle that much anyway. And so Kajabi, but we split it up and combined, we just put a dollar price that it was about $3.5 million. And so we actually, what's really, really cool, the way that we did it with Parker is he's like, okay, the way that I look at it, I could either just let it fizzle out and probably still make a few $1 million over the next 5 years, right? Even fizzling it out, not doing anything, not maintaining it, like not pushing it, promoting it, like it's still kind of on autopilot. It'll still sell pretty well. And so, but he didn't want to have the stress of still having to manage some parts of the business. Yeah. And so we actually set up RBF, revenue-based financing, on this specifically. So the way we did it is we put a dollar price of it was $3.45 million specifically. And we would pay him out 50% rev share every month for what it brings in. And so didn't have to do anything up front, 0% interest, 50% rev share of what we're making. And I'm like, sweet. Like that sounds like, why wouldn't we do that? That's great. It's exactly what I want to do. I was having the itch of getting back into the educational space more. And it's such a great brand to take over. And so we signed all those agreements, contracts, and December, what was it? I think 21st, it was official. Oh, nice. And we took it over. Yeah. Nice. And then since then, I mean, it's a lot. Like when you think about it, it's not a traditional acquisition in any way, really. Like it's a very interesting business. It's a course that has been run by pretty much just one guy for its entire life for the past 5, 6, 7 years. Yeah. And so there's other characters that have been introduced to the audience over the few years, like me, Jake Weisler, a few other people. And so I had a good chance at like coming in, stepping in, becoming the main face, but there's still a little bit of I don't know how to say that. Like the audience still has to kind of readjust to not having Parker be on there as much, right? So like there's challenges that come with this type of a business, but all things considered, I think we've done a pretty damn good job over the last few months, you know? Yeah. And when I took it over, in 2020, 2021, that business was just killing it because all these people were getting their checks from the government for COVID. I forget what they call it. What do they call those?
Like PPP loans and other COVID stimulus packages.
The stimulus checks, yeah. So everyone's getting stimulus checks. They're really reevaluating what they want to do with their life. Like they don't have to go to work anymore. They're working from home. Everything's Zoom meetings now. And so all these people are like, maybe I should pursue what I actually want to do, right? Yeah. So like full-time filmmakers sold really well in 2021 or 2020 and 2021. And so we were doing, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a month in those years. Yeah. And then when Parker was getting ready to hand it off, like it had decreased significantly. There hadn't been as much work being put into it. There just wasn't as many people really buying it. It was still good. It was still, about 6 figures. Yeah. But when I took it over, like I kind of expected it to drop pretty significantly, and it hasn't. Like it's actually done pretty well. We've been able to at least maintain what it was doing when Parker handed it off. So I think the transition from one like personality to the other has done pretty well, all things considered. Yeah. And now it's just a matter of looking at the products that we offer, like the actual like solutions. We've added coaching, we've added some new mini courses, and just figuring out, okay, what can we do to make the product as a whole better and scale it up from there. So cool. Yeah, well, sorry, that was a really long-winded like explanation.
No, you basically answered every question I was going to ask you about it.
I end the podcast.
Yeah, I love it. So the other thing I want to, and this is mostly because it caught me off guard, I want to chat with you about, and I just find it so freaking funny, dude. It's when you did that Apple, what's that called? Those
Apple Vision Pro?
Yeah, Apple Vision Pro. So for anyone listening to the podcast, I'm on Instagram, and there's this guy that gets into a freaking Cybertruck wearing one of those Apple Vision Pros.
I'm gonna find the video right now.
You got it right there, yeah. And you're like, it's so funny because you're like in this thing. For anyone watching the video, like he's kind of like acting like he's looking at like a fake screen in front of you, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah, it's like I'm using the Apple Vision Pro. Like it's all these virtual monitors.
And the car's like driving and all this kind of stuff, right? Yeah, and so I'm watching it. Honestly, when I first saw it, I literally thought you were driving the car with the damn things on. I was like, whoa, these things can do that?
Well, let me clarify. There's 2 videos that went out.
Okay.
There's one video of somebody driving it with the Apple Vision Pro on, driving the Cybertruck, Apple Vision Pro on. That was Tace Anderson driving.
Oh, okay.
So I filmed that video. So I filmed that video from the other car, and then that popped off. We had like Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg or whatever his name is, like saying, hey, maybe don't do that. And like all these other like pages, Lad Bible, Barstool, all these pages are reposting it. And so that did really, really well. And then there's a second video of me jumping out of the Cybertruck with the Apple Vision Pro on. Yeah. And my editor at Full-Time Filmmaker, he posted that on his account. And I was trying to look and see, I don't have very good service down here.
Yeah.
But that video has like 160 something million views on just his account. Yeah. Like it blew up, and it's
so that's the first one I saw, because that one's hilarious. Because you get out of the freaking Cybertruck and you're walking across the street and you're still acting like you're doing Apple Vision Pro stuff.
It's such a random, like I literally I got this. So the Apple Vision Pro comes out. I was one of the first people to get it, like once it was available to the public, and so I got it right away. We made a video as quickly as we could, and then it was like a Saturday morning. We had just published that video. And I text Tace, who works for Supercar Ron, if you're familiar with Supercar Ron, and I'm like, dude, we should do like a collab with the Cybertruck. They had just gotten the Cybertruck. We had just gotten the Apple Vision Pro. I'm like, we got to meet up and just do something, just do a stupid video. So we like filmed this vlog. And then as we're going throughout the day, we're just like, let's just get some dumb iPhone videos that look real, but like we're just totally faking it. Yeah. And so we just filmed those randomly, both of those on the same day, posted it. And within like 24 hours, they had just blown up.
It's like the perfect example of like putting good content out that's engaging.
Oh yeah.
Like people are just like, oh, this is funny. So how I actually found out it was you. I didn't even realize it was you. I was telling Connor about it. And Connor is like, he's like kind of looking at me kind of like, are you like serious kind of thing, And I was like, yeah, dude. It's like, wow, it's kind of funny as hell. And he goes, that's Landon. I go, what do you mean? And he like literally pulls it back up and looks at it, because you got the vision, thing in your face. And I was like, oh shit, it is. Because I think I only met you like one time by the time I had seen that, right? And I was like, oh shit, it is Landon. I'm like, wait, you guys filmed this? He goes, yeah, we did it like, I don't know, a week ago or whatever, you know? And I think I actually saw it off of Barstool.
Oh, really?
Because I think the first time I saw it was either on X, Twitter, or on Instagram on Barstool. And they like reposted you. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is freaking gold.
Dude, it's so wild. Yeah, that happened. And then like first off, I'm not freaking Tom Cruise. I don't get like recognized very often. If I do, it's because I'm in like a camera store and they're like a full-time filmmaker student, or on YouTube, or I'm at like a trade show in Vegas for YouTubers, right? Or like videographers. But after that video came out, I was literally in a Home Depot, and some dude's like, hey, you're the Apple Vision Pro guy. I was like, what the hell? I'm like, yeah. And so suddenly I was getting recognized for that video. I'm like, how can you even tell? I had goggles on, but I guess I don't know, my face shape, and maybe I was wearing the same outfit. I don't know. So it's funny. But you never know what's going to just pop off. I think the reason that one worked so well, both of them worked so well, is because the perception was that it was real. People thought it was real. And like, to me, I was like, this is a fake. Like, obviously this is fake. What moron jumps out of a Cybertruck with his Vision Pros on doing this? Like, obviously it's fake. But it seemed like half of the people were like, this guy's an idiot. Like, this guy's so dumb. And but like in a funny, like I wasn't offended. I was like, this is hilarious. I'm trying to be dumb. It's a character I'm playing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be funny. Yeah.
People were like, the dude thinks he's Tony Stark. People were commenting on my shoes because I was wearing like my Yanis Nike shoes and they looked huge. They're like, he's wearing Yanis's actual shoes. So like people were just making fun of me, but like it was so funny to me. And it's like, if you create a video or an environment where people think something is actually happening for real, or it's mildly like controversial, like you have every ingredient you need for a viral video. Yeah. And to be fair, like that video doesn't really do anything for like Full-Time Filmmaker as a business. Didn't really do anything for me. Didn't do anything even for my buddy who posted it. Like he posted it and he gained a ton of followers. He probably gained like, I don't even know, 80,000 followers over like a couple weeks.
Not bad.
From that video, right?
Yeah.
But the value of those followers is like, they're worthless. They don't engage with anything that he posts to the point that he's like just purging them. He's just like trying to get rid of them because it's actually making his engagement worse. Oh, yeah. They followed him because of that one video, but that's not the type of videos that he posts. Like he posts like filmmaking stuff and tech stuff and whatever. And so like the video is fun to see it like pop off and get that much views, I guess. But overall, like it didn't really like do anything.
So 168 million, is there any monetization with that?
Yeah, he made like 4 cents.
Seriously?
Yeah. Because on Instagram, like they have like badges. Like on TikTok, it's more common. You can like, I don't know if you've been on TikTok, and like people get badges and whatever. Like you can like make some money on TikTok, I guess. And I guess if you have a video that's like over a minute long and it gets a lot of views, then TikTok directly will pay you for that. But on Instagram, like you have to be a part of one of their like beta creator programs to make money, where they'll actually pay you out for stuff. And the video has to meet certain requirements. And I think even if he was on that program, I think the video was too short anyway to get paid out. So like the only money that came from it was somebody watching it and like, oh yeah, I'll give you a badge that's worth 1 penny, right?
Oh, okay.
And no one like gives badges on Instagram. No one's doing that. Because Instagram's just trying to be TikTok. So yeah, so monetization wise, like it didn't really do anything. I will say though, to be fair, from like a sponsorship standpoint, like if you're like a tech brand, for example, let's say you make charging cables or whatever, if you're going to do some influencer marketing, you're going to go look at different profiles, and you're probably going to look at how many followers they have first. And so for my editor, and that's like a lot of the stuff that he does now, especially, like he actually got a lot of cool opportunities on that front, because different tech brands would go to his profile and be like, oh wow, he has 80,000 followers. That's great. You know? And then they would pay him to like post some stuff. Like it got fine engagement, I guess, not really great proportionally to like the amount of followers he had, but I would say it did open up a few doors.
Okay, that's
at least there, right? So.
Well, and one of the reasons I asked, right, is because a lot of people, they think, oh, you get tons of views, you get tons of money. It's actually not true.
No, it totally depends, right?
But, with Jonah and I over at Scallywag, right? We're not even having an argument about it. We're telling all of our clients, it's like, no, we're going to put you guys in education zone, right? And you're going to provide good content. Yeah. I don't give a shit how many views this gets, right? Oh, yeah. We want engagement. Yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, Oh, yeah, dude. But it's funny out there, right? Because a lot of people, what we're noticing, right, is when we go to sell a package to somebody or a business, basically, or kind of focusing on businesses more than personal stuff. And it's interesting because guys, they have no idea. Like, no idea what they want. They have no idea what kind of videos they should do. And it's like, it's funny too, because once you get in the video mojo juices, right, it's like you can see a video in everything if you really look at it, you know? Yeah. And other people are like, well, what would be interesting about me? It's like, you would be interesting about you. Just get up there and talk about why you even own this business.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You get
I think to be honest, I think a lot of businesses and just personal, accounts, creators, like they kind of get it wrong, because I think a lot of people are so focused on getting a lot of views that they're not actually looking at the KPIs that truly matter, right? They're not looking at like how many conversions, like how many people are watching this and then going to my website and purchasing something, or, whatever, or becoming a lead from Instagram. They're getting on my email list, right? So like a lot of people, they just want to go viral. They're like, I want to make videos, they get 1 million views. I'm like, that's great. And like, it's cool. It's great to do that. And I've had hundreds of millions of views that didn't turn into anything. Right. At the end of the day, you just need to create content that hits the right audience and that sells them in the right way. Yeah. Like ideally, the free content that you're making is stuff that leads up to the offer that you're going to sell. It's prepping the viewer for that offer. So a lot of the content that I make now is like tips and tricks on filmmaking stuff. We're priming these people who are interested in filmmaking so that then they'll be more motivated to get a huge course and like really dive into it. We might give away stuff for free. It's like, hey, comment the word whatever, and we have an automation set up, and we'll send you a link to our iPhone LUT pack. And it's just like a preset pack, a color preset pack. Yeah. They sign up for our email list. We send them this download. We can retarget them later in ads. We can send them an email campaign that sells them on our new iPhone filmmaking course, right? Yeah. And so, and to be honest, like, I mean, I've had videos that like didn't do very well on Instagram, for example, like just less engagement than usual, but they have way more comments than usual because there's just a really good call to action and the video is really good. So it still converts really well. Yeah. And even when there's not good engagement, overall comments, likes, whatever it might be, like I like to think of, and I've said this a few times in my coaching program, but like, cause there's a lot of people who are, they're so focused on views and likes and like, how many likes did this get? I should probably delete it. It didn't do very well. And I totally get that. I understand, but I'm like, you gotta understand if you make a video and you like it, that's the most important thing that matters. And if it's on your profile, it's going to live there forever. And if you think about it, if there's like a client or a customer, somebody who wants to work with you or buy something from you, they're probably going to do their research. So you might post another video later that does get a little bit more reach, that catches their attention. Because of that, it's likely they're going to hit on your profile, look at the other stuff that you've made, and come across that video that maybe didn't get very many views or likes, but they might resonate with that, and that might be the reason that they purchase or whatever, right? Yeah. So like you can't look at one piece of content and be like, hey, this defines my success, right? Like you just gotta throw a lot of shit at the wall and just see what sticks. And like obviously you can optimize and do your best, because in an ideal world, everything's performing well. Yeah. But in this day and age, that's just not gonna happen, right? So yeah, you just can't overthink content. You just gotta make stuff.
Yeah, exactly. People know their brand. Go push your brand. Yeah. And stay on brand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
yeah, the more you can make stuff that's just truly organic to you, the better. Yeah. Like I think that's a big thing that people have a problem with when they're trying to get onto social media. They're trying to make more content, is they just don't know what to create. And they haven't set themselves up so that it's easy and almost effortless for them to create. Like you'd be surprised, the lowest effort content is often the highest performing content for us. If you put so much work into a piece of content, doesn't mean it's not going to perform well, but it's like, okay, great. Like you made one piece of content and you put it out there and like, you'll just see what happens. But in that same time frame, maybe you could have made a dozen, easier videos, and you could have had half of them that pop off just the same as that big piece of content you spent time on, And so, I think if you create an environment where it's easy for you to put stuff together, like this podcast room, right? Like you can sit down, set up the cameras, and you're knocking out 3 or 4 podcast episodes today. Right. Like you just create an environment where it's easy for you to create the content, then it's not daunting. Yeah. If every time you need to make a video, it takes you 2 hours to prep for it, then it's not very efficient. You're not going to enjoy it. And by the time you're ready to film, you're just tired of being here,
100%. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I like this place. It's easy just to walk in here.
Oh yeah. So it's awesome.
Well, dude, we're at the end, my friend.
Damn, time flies.
I know, it's really quick. So I always ask everybody for their best advice to close it out.
For who specifically?
Anyone.
Just
whatever pops in your head.
I mean, one of the biggest things that I've said a lot lately is that life isn't about being comfortable. It's not about reaching this destination where you're comfortable and everything's perfect and right. It's about enjoying the discomfort that comes every single day. If you're always looking forward to the future, if you're always looking for that next thing and you're not happy with where you are now, I promise you'll never get there. If you can't be happy with the current situation that you're in, whether it's good or pretty shitty, like no matter what happens in this life, you're not going to be content. So just get used to being a little bit uncomfortable. Life gets so much better at that point.
Nice. Thanks, my friend.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks for coming on, dude.
Of course. Thanks for having me, man. This has been awesome.
Thanks for listening to the President McCormack Podcast, brought to you by McCormack Foundation, Saxton Fund, ADP Lemco, and Professional Floor Systems. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and keep up with Mark on Instagram @President McCormack.